the other thing is as well, as Stevie says, if he'd had kind of footballing common sense, he would have known that Ange Postecoglou is not a fit for the way that Forest plays. So all the headlines are going to be about Postecoglou. But from a Chelsea perspective, anyone who didn't see the game and sees they won 3-0 would think, oh, that was comfortable. It was far from it, especially that first half. So was it the triple change at half-time that turned this around?
Yes, credit to Maresca here. He has injected some life and some positivity into what was looking like a very, very drab Chelsea performance. The sort of performance you might get off the back of an international break where several of your players may have flown very far to come back. I looked at the starting lineups. I saw Moises Caicedo on the bench. I thought, oh, that's going to be to do with South American travel. Enzo Fernandez obviously wasn't available. Things like that. You start to wonder, oh, could this be Forest Day? They really need a result. They're at home. This is an opportunity with a lot of players there that Anne just spent 2 weeks on the training pitch with. Could this be their moment? And you know what? It should have been. It really should have been based on that first half. You're right. But the changes in the second half just breathed life into the team. I think they were quite clever. I think bringing João Pedro back a little bit further and deeper towards the ball was important. Get him on the ball a bit more because he wasn't really getting ahead of the defence. But he did play that lovely chipped ball in the first half over for a good chance for Andre Santos. So get him on the ball and get him creating a bit more. And then get Neto into the game as well a little bit more too. It worked a charm. It really did. And bringing a player on like Caicedo, it kind of feels like everyone around him goes, right, we're going to be okay now. Moises is on the pitch. He is that good a player. This
is always a tricky one. Because I can't disagree with Sam that the changes that were made at half-time made a difference. But are we going to glass half empty or half full? You know, the team he put on the field was abysmal. It was a shambles. I mean, players that have never played with each other. And in some ways you can say, really, they got away with it. And they really have gotten away with it. You know, to make the 3 changes at half-time, it wasn't going to get any worse for Chelsea than it was the first half. So this is always a tough one. You know, on one hand, you can say, congratulations, Maresca, you made the changes that had to happen, blah, blah, blah. But then you got to say, what were you doing in the first place by the team he put on the field? He in my estimation, is a lucky boy. You know, to come away winning 3-0, the way that game panned out, he's a lucky boy.
So I think that I counted four players in the first half that were probably first-team Chelsea players, like players that you would ideally have on the pitch. It's Reece James, Marc Cucurella, Pedro Neto, and João Pedro. I think everybody else is basically not a first-team player, a first 11 player, one of their strongest, or fully embedded into the team. Now, some of that is going to be down to Maresca, but I'm always wary of the fact that just coming off that international break with a lot of players doing a lot of travelling, sometimes the sports scientists will turn around and say, listen, if you play Moises Caicedo today from the start, he's going to get injured. And it's always quite murky. I can't disagree with you, Steve. Like, he's got away with it, but at least he was nice and proactive, because there will be quite a lot of managers out there, I reckon, who would have waited to the 60th minute. And you never know how far that bleeds into the performance and how far that game drifts away from you then. So at least well done for acting at half time, because I know a lot of managers that wouldn't do that.
He was lucky at half time. It was still 0-0 when he made the changes, because I don't know how Gibbs White hasn't scored in that first half, Stevie.
Yeah, I mean, they had, you know, 1 year a chance. Anderson had an opportunity that he didn't take. But Gibbs White is the one that absolutely should have been in the back of the net. I mean, this is no rookie. This guy's an England international. That ball should have been lying in the back of the net. But I'd love to have been in both dressing rooms at halftime, because I just wonder whether Maresca has the old school kick up the backside, laying into people, because that's certainly, along with the changes, it has to have happened. Because as a coach, you can't have a team that you put on the field and come in at half-time and not get into them. And you certainly can't go the nicey nice approach about, you know, unlucky and all that kind of nonsense. On the other hand, the other dressing room would have been the opposite. Ange Postecoglou, 100%, considering the run they've been on, considering that they should have been ahead, considering the opportunities he had, he would have been the complete opposite. He'd be going around just again trying to add confidence onto the players that had done such a good job in the first half. So yeah, this is one of those occasions where you want to be in the dressing room and see how see how certainly Maresca handled it. Yes, you got to make changes, but I'd love to know whether he actually gave them the rocket.